Senegal with the exception of its western coastline along the Atlantic Ocean. It is one of the smallest countries in mainland Africa. The country gained its independence on February 18, 1965 from Great Britain. Gambia's Independence Day celebration includes raising of its red, white, blue and green national flag and the lowering of the Union Jack, marking the end of 300 years of colonial rule. Unlike many African countries, Gambia had a peaceful transition from its colonial masters, but is the country lucky like other African countries in their development aspirations? Historian and Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture, Hasum Ceesay will take us through the journey of Gambia's independence to date.
Generally, the country was at peace at independence, and this is important to underline because not many African countries have had that luck to gain independence in an atmosphere of peace and stability. Because some countries had to fight wars with Algeria, Guinea-Bissau, and so on. But luckily for us, at independence, we are a country at peace, stable, and also united. Okay? Although the challenges were there, like economic challenges. Because the country had only, groundnuts as the mainstay of the economy. Okay? Such that even the first 2 years after independence, there was something called grant in aid, meaning Britain really had to, pay some of the salaries, of people working in this country, because there was almost nothing.
Mr. Ceesay said due to the country's hard work and determination, the situation ended in 1967, ushering in the country's first achievement. In addition, the historian said Sir Jawara was an accommodative man who maintained peace and unity in the country despite the challenge of huge political adversaries.
PPP government at the time, under Sir Dawda, was able also to maintain the unity.
Independence, nimba nyinina, ba nyinina wolle bulu, hatu wolle ision lo kan.
Of course, there were, a lot of political differences. There are political, different political persuasions and so on. But unity was maintained through accommodation, political accommodation. Sadado was very good at that. It was like a survival tactic for him. He like MPs from the opposition can come and join him. Parties, can come and join the PPP and so on. All that was like, if you like a survival tactic, so as to maintain unity and stability.
Mr. Ceesay said until 1994, the country was able to build a solid reputation for its democratic space, pluralism and political tolerance with a robust foreign policy.
Although later, after the army coup of 1994, we began to lose, some of these cherished ideals which our country was known for. So what is happening now is that we are, slowly recovering, that lost glory.
Since independence, the country have had a lot of challenges ranging from coups, droughts and poor economic conditions. Despite all the tribulations, the historian said there is a lot to be optimistic about, saying at independence, many people doubted that the country will survive as a viable independent state. Mr. Ceesay said Gambia could have been a lot better comparing the resources at its disposal at independence and now.
I think what is important now is really for Gambians to reassert themselves, particularly in the economy, take more control of it and make the most out of what is readily available. Be the river, the soil, and like our youthful population, their talent and so on. I think that is one way of maximizing our economic benefits. Because really, Julle, Political independence is the start, but economic independence is good. If you have political independence, your citizens expect to feel it in their pocket, for their pockets to be heavier, for prices to be lower, and so on and so forth. Well, we have not been able to get that yet, but at least we have got like political independence, because now we are free, we make our own decisions, that people don't dictate to us, we rule our own self.
Gambia's economy is largely dependent on tax and agriculture. About 75% of the population depends on crops and livestock for their livelihood. Mr. Ceesay said, although Gambia has its political independence, but there is still a lot left to be done in terms of its economic independence. He said some of the dreams of the country's independence heroes were fulfilled, while others were dashed because the level of poverty is still high, while the dream of a united Africa is not fulfilled and the youth unemployment is in the increase.
So if the founding, like the heroes of independence were to come today, I think they will give us a pass mark. Of course, I said, there still remains a lot to be done, but at least there will be a pass mark for what we have done in 55 years.
Hasum Ceesay said, after 55 years of independence, all issues have become new issues. According to him, the old issues facing the first government at independence are some of the issues facing the current government, saying that with unity and commitment, Gambia can reach its full development aspirations. This is the first independence Gambia is celebrating after the demise of the country's independence hero, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, who Mr. Ceesay said will not only be remembered as a man who led the country to independence, but also a man of great virtue whose every move was consensus. Over the years, Gambia celebrated its independence by organizing musical jamborees, conducting sporting activities and giving lengthy speeches. But in the view of the historian, Gambia should include more intellectualism like debates, symposiums and conferences as part of the independence celebrations. Moving on, the historian said the way forward for the Gambia is discussion, tolerance and consensus.